Good evening, everyone. Before I begin, let's all take another moment to applaud for Vanessa. What she just did, opening up like that, was nothing short of remarkable, and it's something that's commendable to be able to get up here and say those things in front of all these people. So just really, really amazing. So before I actually start my speech, I would like to do some quick thank yous. To Mom and Dad, thank you for all you've done for me. The sacrifices you have made have allowed me to grow, and the unconditional love and support I have felt have made me the young man I am today. I hope you're proud of me. To my sister Noelle, you're my best friend, and I've been blessed to have somebody to confide in through my 18 years of life so far. I would also like to thank Dr. Thum and Mr. Esdale. The school does not accomplish the marvelous things that it does without the two of you at the helm. So let's get a round of applause for that. So now, I would like to welcome each and every one of you to the day that the 230 of us have been waiting for since our first day of kindergarten, graduation day. Times were much simpler back then when we were tearing up kindergarten classrooms. Holding open doors for your friends was encouraged, and although you needed teachers' permission, you did not have to scan yourself into the bathrooms. It was a much easier process. You actually just pushed open the door and then you did your business. It was really simple for kindergarten us. There are definitely some things that have remained, however, like being tired. We're still tired all the time. Carolyn Coletti is still the greatest living human being. Fantastic Mr. Fox is still a criminally underappreciated movie. Wes Anderson really went off on that one. And finally, the Yankees are still better than the Mets. It may take a while for that one to change. But above all, what has been consistent has been the supporting cast around us, and I think now is an appropriate time to say thank you to all those who have supported, nurtured, loved, and inspired along the way. Almost exactly 1 year ago, I sat in a chair over there in the corner and watched one of my best friends walk across the stage, finishing an illustrious 4 years at Ramsey High School. That night, she told me something that has stayed with me, that goodbyes are always harder for the one being left behind. And that might be true, although I can tell my mom is secretly really happy that I'm leaving. Sure, she loves me and doesn't want me to leave her alone, but she also won't have to put up with my teenage attitudes or do my laundry anymore. Is that right? Anyway, I want to address a few people that are being left behind and what they have meant to a class of students as they progress into adults. This following anecdote is brought to you by the fact that math is very difficult. This year, I was struggling in calculus, as any student who stinks at calculus would. When things began to get dicey with college admissions, it all got too real. I went to see my teacher, Mrs. Myron, to discuss how I could right the ship. She was honest with me, saying that the only way she figured I could do it was to really throw myself into it, to give 110% of my effort this chapter. We did the math, and I needed about an 85 on the last test to salvage the marking period. And the thing is, I never felt stupid during the time I spoke with Mrs. Myron. She never made me feel like I didn't deserve to be in the AP class. She looked me in the eye and told me she believed in me, that all I needed to do was to do the work, and I would just be fine. And it turns out she was right. Except I didn't just skate by with an 85. Instead, I got a 96, which was the highest grade anyone had gotten so far that year. I walked into Mrs. Myron's room that day, and she greeted me with a smile from ear to ear. A congratulatory "you did it" bellowed throughout the room, and with tears in the both of her eyes, she told me that she was proud of me, that she knew I could do it. Fast forward to now, and here I am at graduation speaking to all of you after being accepted into my top choice school thanks to my resurrected calculus grade. Now, I'm not trying to gas myself up here, but rather speak to how a teacher who shows that they care can affect a student's life. Not enough credit is given to the teachers that go above and beyond to motivate their students, to show them that they are there to guide them along the way. Thanks again, Mrs. Myron, for guiding me through the most difficult class I've ever had to take. Additionally, there are teachers whom students love like their own parent. There are a handful in the audience that already know who I'm talking about. To myself and those people, Mrs. Alcade is our school mom. We feel the love whenever we enter her classroom. Whether we are learning about debate tactics or old journalists like Walter Cronkite, we never want to leave. There's something to be said for a teacher who has students that adore her so much that they call her mom. Either she's the greatest teacher ever, or the students are really strange. And we are really strange, but the point is we love Mrs. Alcade. Mrs. Myron and Mrs. Alcade are what's right about high school. They are what's right about the community we wish to create. one with support and love from all around, one that preaches equality and knows that love is love, one that tells people with hate in their hearts to take it elsewhere. Mrs. Myron and Mrs. Alcade exemplify what every student yearns for in a teacher. We need someone to show us they care, convince us they love us, support us, and want us to succeed. Guide us not only through calculus or history, but through life. We owe our successes and to the outstanding faculty in this building. As we progress through our educations and as we grow, we can only hope to meet more Mrs. Altieros, the ones that show you it's okay to open up about your past and to show you your love through trust. More Mr. Wins, the ones that just love to have fun, the ones that treat all like equals, the ones that go out of their way to make sure their class of seniors finish their gym softball World Series. More Mr. Gipples, ones that push kids out of their comfort zone, including pushing a certain baseball player who has never graced the stage to appear in 2 different drama productions in somewhat large roles. The same ones that don't become angry when that actor drops an accidental F-bomb on stage. I'm sorry again, Mr. Gipple. More Senor Downies, the ones who help us discover new worlds and help us understand the people that live in them. The ones who wait patiently for a babbling Spanish student to finish explaining a political cartoon about cocaine, skulls, and banks in incoherent Spanish in front of the entire class. More Mr. DiMartinos, the ones who show us the world to teach compassion. More Coach Chesneys, ones who motivate a group of athletes to perform better than they had ever imagined possible. Ones that inspired a love between 18 players and 5 coaches uncommon to high school sports. The ones that defend the check. More Mrs. Myrons, the ones that are brought to tears upon showing a struggling calculus student they had scored the highest mark out of any student this year on a recent test. The ones who show students that they aren't just a name on a class list, but rather a person with a real story, a real background, and a real future. And finally, more Mrs. Alcades, the ones who care for others as if they were their own blood. The people that teach you not to think not only with your mind, but with your heart as well, and that you can make your own community with love and support. At the end of the day, we are blessed to have been taught by some of the best humans this earth has to offer. And goodbyes may be hardest for the ones left behind, but I think you'll all get over it. You'll all just get on inspiring the next group of students. The cycle will continue with your lessons becoming eternal. We may be leaving you all for the real world, but the lessons in worldliness will never leave us. I believe yesterday Ms. Beslow said it the best. The problem is not saying goodbye to your teachers and friends from Ramsey, because we will never leave you. So I guess I'll say one last thing as senior class president, as a student of Ramsey High School, and as someone who has grown up and become a man in Ramsey, New Jersey. With hopeful pride, I tell the people of Ramsey High School that in some sort of Frankenstein-esque mashed-together way, you're all a part of us. Because of you, we are fearless, and because of you, our futures are bright. You'll all be in our hearts from this day on, now, and forevermore. And just for one last time, on the count of 3, I would like, since I don't believe there's anybody after me to upstage me, on the count of 3, let's have the loudest Go Rams we've heard yet tonight, all right? 1, 2, 3, Go Rams! Additionally, our class motto is making history, and our class gift will go towards preserving history. We will provide funds to restore and display the all-county athlete photos that go back as far as the 1930s. Additionally, earlier on in the year, we did a fundraiser called Rent a Senior, where underclassmen got to rent their senior friends and have them do whatever they want, dress up in weird costumes. And we have decided, the 4 of us, myself, Caitlin Pierpont, Nick D'Angelo, and Bobby Tomedy, have decided that we will be giving all of the money we made to the Amber Lukowski Scholarship Fund.